Monday night, and I'm so glad that you've taken this time for yourself to practice some yoga. For those of you who maybe are new to class tonight, my name is Amanda McIntire, and this is the UVM beginning yoga class through OLLI, through UVM's continuing and distance education. And they're providing this opportunity free to folks all over the world. So know that you are in good company with a couple hundred other folks who are looking to practice some yoga together tonight. This is a beginner class, but with that said, this is meant to be a class that's for everybody. So what that means is that if you need to go a little deeper or hold a posture a little bit longer than what I'm suggesting, do that. And if you need to back off of it, to take a little bit of a break, you can do that as well. This is meant to be your time to do what you need to feel better an hour from now, whatever that looks like for you. But like I said, I'm really glad that you're here. I've been having all kinds of great communications with folks who have been attending class and wishing that we were in person. And one of the things that I keep hearing over and over again from folks is feeling like during this time where we're all in different routines, spending a lot more time at home, that although some of us are feeling a lot of, inner strength in terms of really being able to step up and handle challenging situations, support our friends and family and that sort of thing. I've been hearing a lot about people feeling like they're losing physical strength in their body. Does that sound familiar? So strength is one of these things that we can gain over time and that we definitely inevitably lose over time. And so if you have started to have this feeling over these last few weeks as you've been out of your routine, whether you're not going to fitness classes or the gym, or you're just not walking to meetings the way that you used to, you may feel that your body's not feeling as strong as it was previously. The yoga practice is an awesome opportunity to build strength. And part of what's really cool about it is that we don't need to have any tools. We really just use the mat and our bodies going through the yoga practice in order to help build strength and build stability in our practice. This class is your gift to yourself. It's your opportunity, and tonight we're going to focus on building strength. And if to you that sounds like, oh gosh, that's so hard for me, that's something that I can't do that on my own, perfect, I'm so glad you're here. Take advantage of this. And for others of you, I know you've been waiting for some strength and some core kinds of things. So I hope that you enjoy the class tonight. But I want to offer up just a couple things. One, we'll do a lot of focusing on the core this evening. And the core is not an anatomical term, so I'll describe what I mean when I'm talking about the core of our body. And essentially what I'm describing is our torso, the front, the back, as well as the sides. So that's the direct core, and then there are these more peripheral pieces of the core, which include our thighs, glutes, shoulders, and that sort of thing. So this is what we're talking about when we're talking about core, and I want you to think about it as three-dimensional: front, back, sides, inside, outside, all of these different pieces. I think that oftentimes when we think about strength building, an extreme example would be thinking about going and picking up the heaviest weight that you can and seeing how many reps you can do. That's something, but that's a great way to injure yourself. The idea in the yoga practice is that we utilize engagement of the muscles in order for us to be stronger and in order to prevent injury. And so we think of this body three-dimensionally, sort of like a tree. So if you think about a tree that has this center to it and then the rings go along the outside of it to build the outside of the tree, similar with our bodies. So we have this, the inside, which is our spirit, but then we've got the organs, we've got all the fluids, and then bones, and then all these muscles. And we have layers and layers upon muscles. And so sometimes you'll hear in classes talking about hugging into the midline, squeezing everything towards the center. And it's this idea of thinking about internally hugging your skin to your muscles to your bones. So as we go through our practice tonight, we're three-dimensional. We're going to think about engaging in order to be as strong as we can be, to build strength and to maintain stability. But the other thing I want to offer up to you is that you are stronger than you think that you are. As we go through our practice tonight, you might feel differently about that. But I still want to remind you that you are stronger than you think that you are. And strength comes in many forms. So as we go through the practice tonight, we might be doing something that really you know is a bad idea for your knee. And strength for you might look like saying, this is a bad idea for me. I'm going to sit this posture out. There's a lot of strength in that. There's also strength in maybe picking up one foot in plank when you've never done it before and you feel your body shaking. There's strength in that as well. So yoga provides us this opportunity to strengthen the body, but it also provides us the opportunity to strengthen the mind and to strengthen the spirit. So as we go through our practice tonight, please be kind to yourself. Recognize that we have strength in our bodies and in our minds, and that this yoga practice is the opportunity to grow, to change, and to be more aware of those things. So I'm really glad that you're here. Be kind to yourself. And we're going to begin by finding a comfortable seat, whatever that looks like for you tonight. And we'll start by sitting up nice and tall. Make sure that the weight is even between both of your hips and that you have a nice long spine. Now, I like to sit with my legs crossed. This is comfortable for my body, but you need to find a position that's comfortable for you, that you can find some strength and some power in. So if your legs aren't crossed, maybe it's nice to have them bent, to have one leg straight. Wherever your legs are at, just make sure the weight is even between both of your hips. And then think of the crown of the head extending up towards the ceiling as your shoulders gently drop down on your back. Tuck your chin just a little bit so that we have the ears aligned over the shoulders, over the hips. Engage your abdominal muscles just a little bit, so pulling in the lower belly, tucking the ribs as you sit up nice and tall. And then close your eyes or bring them to a soft gaze as you allow yourself to arrive in this tall, strong seat tonight. And begin by just connecting with your breath, perhaps for the first time today. Just noticing it as it comes in through the nostrils, filling the lungs. Noticing it as it pours out to your body and the belly pulls in. And as your awareness is on this breath just pouring in and out, do your best to maintain a nice, strong seat. And if this seat is uncomfortable for you, feel free to make any subtle movements that'll make it more comfortable. But keep sitting up nice and tall, inhaling fully and completely. And exhaling to pour all that CO2 out as you sit up nice and tall. Bring your palms together in prayer position in front of your heart, still sitting up nice and tall, strong in this seat. And we're going to begin our practice tonight by chanting the sound of Ohm together. We're going to chant it just one time, and you can chant as quietly or as loudly as you would like. And maybe if you have other people in your house, you want to chant quietly, but maybe if you're home alone, maybe tonight's your night to belt it out and find a little bit of strength in your core. Let's see how it goes. 1 Ohm. So take a full exhale. And a deep inhale for Ohm. Release your hands and Gently let your eyes flutter open as you keep sitting up nice and tall in your seat. Make sure your abdominal muscles are tucked in. So nothing too intense, but we're pulling the lower belly in and tucking the ribs down to stay nice and engaged in the front of the body. Extend your arms out to the sides with your palms facing straight ahead. You're still sitting up nice and tall. As you inhale, float the arms up overhead. Connect the palms, exhale, and bring your hands to your heart. Inhale again and reach the arms wide. And exhale to connect. Inhale, reach the arms wide, stay strong in the belly. Once you reach the top, you're looking up towards the ceiling. As we exhale, we're going to twist to the right. So bring your right hand behind and your left hand in front. Inhale, come back to center. Stay strong in the core. Shoulders are relaxed. Exhale, we'll twist to the left. Inhale, center. Exhale, gently twist to the right. We're just waking up the spine here, warming up the core. Inhale, back up to center. And exhale to the left. Inhale, come back to center one more time. And then if your neck allows, take a look up towards your hands, but if this really doesn't feel good for the neck or shoulders, you can always look straight ahead towards me. Create fists with your hands and do some circles with the wrists. So part of strength is recognizing that we have all these different parts of the body. Switch directions with your circles. So making sure that we tap into the strength of every joint, every muscle, from our fingertips to our pinky toes. Spread your fingers really, really wide. And then stretch each digit across the palm. So your thumb, your pointer finger, your middle finger. We're trying to stretch the fingers here, which we often ignore. And then clasp the palms, press the palms up towards the ceiling, but let the shoulders stay relaxed. So there's a tendency that we want to kind of go like this. See if you can keep this engagement in the core and shoulders as we stretch through the fingers. Exhale, round the spine, press the hands towards me, pull the belly button in, press the shoulders towards the back of the room. We're stretching the arms, the shoulders, the fingers, and wrists. Inhale and bring the hands back up, and then exhale and release. Nice. Bring your hands to your knees or thighs. Again, shoulders are square, core is nice and strong. Tip the right ear to the right shoulder. And then just gently drop the chin down towards the chest as we open up the back of the neck. And then once you've reached the left side, gently let the chin drop once again. We're making a semicircle towards the front as you work your way over to the right side. Bring your head back to center, looking straight ahead towards me. And then turn and take a look over the right shoulder. Shoulders are facing the front of the mat. Still strong in the belly. As you exhale, come through center and other side. Take a look over the left shoulder. And exhale to come back to center. If you're sitting on a block or blocks, remove them. And come to a seat with your knees bent and your feet flat on the floor. And you can be in the middle of the mat, the back of your mat, whatever you like. We're going to sit up nice and tall. Hands come behind the thighs. And create some engagement in the abdominals once again. So pull in the lower belly, that's the part right below your belly button, and tuck your ribs. And if you're not quite sure where those are, feel free to poke around at them and go, okay, wait a minute, that's where I need to tuck in. There's where my ribs are. Totally fine, but get nice and strong through the middle. Hands are behind the thighs. As you exhale, see if you can tip back and get your feet off of the mat for boat pose. Now I said exhale, but make sure you keep breathing. And if your feet don't reach off the floor tonight, don't worry about it. We're just warming up. So you can stay right here, or if you'd like a little added challenge, you can try bringing your shins to parallel. You're still staying strong in the core. And for another added challenge, you can try extending your arms straight ahead. Wherever you're at, you're listening to your body, you're breathing. Maybe you're feeling a little bit of a tremble, a little bit of that sacred shake that we talk about. If you are, good for you, good work. Working on our strength. All right, a couple more breaths. Nice job. As you exhale, cross the legs and come to an upright seat. Nice. Still sitting up nice and tall. Just walk your hands forward as we do a forward fold over this cross-legged seat. Inhale and let the torso rise back up. And then extend both legs straight out in front of you for Dandasana or staff pose. Feet are flexed, and the reason we do that is to engage the muscles of the legs. So this is already working on some strength here. If you need a little bend in the knees, that's totally fine, go for it. Your hands are on either side of your hips as you sit up nice and tall. There's engagement in the core here. So I find that sometimes people think this is like lounge pose, and they do one of these, which is cool, but it's not Dandasana or staff pose. Staff pose is hands up by the hips, and you're sitting up nice and tall. Strength is in your core. Notice that my hands are barely touching the floor. Inhale and float your arms up overhead. Take a look up towards the ceiling. As you exhale, lead with your chest and hinge forward, releasing your hands wherever is comfortable. This is called Pashimotanasana, or seated forward fold. If you can grab your feet, that's cool, but shins, ankles, or the mat are also really nice options. Keep the shoulders relaxed, keep the belly tucked in. And as you inhale, see if you can find length through the back of your body, the back of the spine. As you exhale, maybe you can sink a little bit deeper. Inhale and walk the hands in as your torso rises up. And then we're going to scoot around and come onto hands and knees in a tabletop position. And take this opportunity to make this tabletop comfortable for you. So maybe you need a blanket for your knees or to fold the mat to make that more comfortable. We're aligning the hips over the knees, the shoulders over the wrists. Toes are pointed, so the tops of your feet are connected to the mat. And then walk your hands forward just a couple of inches from the shoulders so that you've got a nice wide angle in the wrists. Engage your abdominal muscles. So again, pull in the low belly, tuck the ribs in so that you have a nice flat back. On an inhale, drop your belly, drop the chest, lift your gaze up towards the ceiling. Stay strong in your belly as you then tip the pelvis, round the spine, tuck the chin for cat pose. We'll do that again. Inhale for cow pose. So tip the pelvis, drop the belly and chest, and look up towards the ceiling. As you exhale, tip the tailbone, pull the belly button in, round the shoulders, tuck your chin, and then come back to a neutral spine, flat back. Nice. All right, so we know where the core is, nice and strong in the belly. Also think about nice and strong in the thighs and in the glutes. On an inhale, extend your right arm directly out in front of you, keeping the shoulder engaged. On an exhale, extend your left leg directly behind you at hip height. The left toes are flexed towards the floor. If you find this posture to be a little bit wobbly, this is a balanced table pose, think about that idea of hugging the skin into the muscles, into the bones, hugging everything into the midline. All right, stay strong in your belly. As you exhale, bring your elbow and knee to meet under the body. And as you inhale, take your time extending the arm and leg out nice and long. They call these yoga crunches. We'll do these 2 more times. Exhale, bring your elbow and knee underneath the body. It's like you're tucking yourself underneath yourself. And then as you inhale, you're extending the arm and leg nice and long. 1 more time. Exhale, elbow and knee meet, the shoulders round, belly is tucked in. Inhale, take your time. Extend the arm and leg nice and long. And then lower your hand and knee down to the floor. Take any movements that you need to that might feel nourishing here. So that might be just shaking out your wrists, taking child's pose, or doing some circles with the hips. And then come on back to a neutral spine once again. Make any adjustments that you need to for the other side. Strong and steady, extend your left arm directly out in front. Stay strong in the core. Are you still hugging in at the lower belly and at the ribs? If not, maybe you need to find out where that's at and tuck it all in. Nice and strong, extend the right leg directly behind you at hip height. You're flexing through the sole of the right foot, pressing it towards the wall behind you to help straighten the leg. Nice and strong in the belly. As you exhale, bring the elbow and knee to meet. Tuck the chin. Inhale and reach nice and long. Once again, exhale, bring the elbow and knee to meet. And inhale. Nice and long. All right, one more time. Slow, steady, lots of strength here. Bring the elbow and knee to meet. Give yourself just a moment here. Inhale and extend the arm out nice and long. Extend the leg. And exhale to lower your hand and knee down to the floor. Again, take any movements that might feel good here. Feel free to take child's pose. Get a drink of water, whatever you need. And then when you're ready, come on back to standing up on your knees. And again, feel free to adjust. So if you need to lay a blanket out to be more comfortable here, do that. Extend your right leg directly out to the side. Your foot can be parallel to the mat or perpendicular, whatever's more comfortable for you. I'm standing tall on this left knee. Core is engaged. So lower abdominals are tucked in, ribs are tucked in. I'm strong through the chest and shoulders. Bring your hands to your hips. How tall can you be on this left knee? Nice. Let your right fingertips go down the right leg. Reach the left arm up overhead for gate pose. We're staying strong in the belly, and this posture is like a gate in the wind. So as we inhale, we'll come through center. Left hand comes to the hip. Right fingertips reach. Exhale. Right hand comes to the right leg. Inhale. Come back through center. Left hand comes to the left hip. Create a diagonal line from the right hand to the right foot. Come back through center. Right hand to right leg. And exhale. Come all the way back through, reaching through the side body. And then come on back to center. So in that posture, we're utilizing our core, moving back and forth. If you're ever doing a posture and you feel like you need to come out of it, do that. So for example, in that posture we just did, I started to get a Charlie horse in my hip. If you were feeling that too, you were probably doing the posture right, but take breaks if you need to. We'll do the other side. So extend the left leg out to the side and stand up nice and tall. Engage your abdominals again. So remember, we're going to stay nice and strong in the core and swing like a gate. So left fingertips go down the left leg, right arm reaches up overhead. And then inhale, come through center, right hand to the right hip, nice diagonal line through the left side. Inhale, come on back towards the left. Very little weight on this left leg. Inhale, side, nice side diagonal line. Last time, inhale to the left. And exhale to the right. Bring your hand to your hip, bring the left knee underneath you, and then make your way back. Oh no, we're gonna actually come on down to tabletop and step your right foot forward to a low lunge. Make sure that your knee and your foot are hip width apart. Back toes are pointed. You're standing up nice and tall. Again, nice and strong in the belly. As you exhale, we're going to shift the weight in the hips forward to really stretch through this left quad and hip flexor. You're still strong in the core. Inhale to reach your arms up overhead. So this engagement in the abdominals is helping to protect the low back. So if you're feeling a little tweaky through the low back, try to engage the lower belly and the glutes. A little bit of a back bend here. Nice. Come back to center. Bring your fingertips down towards the floor and we'll switch sides. So bring the right knee back, step the left foot forward, and then make any adjustments you need to get nice and solid in this low lunge. Hands are on the hips. Core is nice and strong. We're going to shift the weight forward, opening up through the right side. Inhale, reach the arms up, a little bit of a back bend. Use your breath here. And remember this, focus on muscle engagement and strengthening. Exhale to come back to center. Bring your fingertips towards the floor. Bring your left knee back to meet the right. Make your way into child's pose. So big toes together, knees are wide, fingertips towards the top of the mat as you extend your tailbone away from your skull. Child's pose is one of these subtle postures of strength. So Anytime that you are in a yoga practice and you need to be taking a break for you, even if that's different than what the person next to you is doing or what the teacher is offering up, child's pose is always a great option. Some teachers call this wisdom pose, which I kind of love. All right, come on back to tabletop on all fours. Walk the knees back just a couple of inches. Walk the hands forward a couple of inches. Tuck the toes, and we're going to come up to plank, top of a push-up. So in plank, we've got the shoulders aligned over the wrists. The legs are straight. The core is engaged. So that means my low belly is tucked in, my ribs are tucked in, and my tailbone, so I'm really tight in the glutes, and my tailbone is pointed towards my heels. You're welcome to drop your knees at any point or accept the challenge of staying in plank for however long. Keep your hands and feet where they are, and then move your hips up and back to downward dog. So you're pressing into the hands, the hips are moving back, everything's squeezing in towards the midline. So think about the thighs, the belly, shoulders. Pedal the feet out, so alternate bending each knee, moving the hips. And then walk your hands back towards your feet so that you're at a forward fold at the back of your mat. So your feet are hips distance apart and parallel. You're hinged at the hips, and your hands are connected to something. So maybe it's your thighs, your shins, the floor, or a block. Let your head relax. Let the shoulders relax. And then engage your abdominal muscles, so pull in at the belly. Bring your hands to your hips, press into your feet, and come on up to standing. Excellent. So, Tadasana, mountain pose, is the central pivotal posture to everything that we do in yoga. And it's all about engagement and awareness. So, find your feet, hips distance apart and parallel. Feel the inner arches of your feet lifting, so you might have to scrunch your toes just a little bit to get some lift. Engage through your shins and through your calves. Lift the kneecaps and engage through the thighs. So we're hugging in at the inner thighs, hugging in at the outer thighs. Engage your abdominal muscles. So I'll give you a little side view of that. Soft bend in the knees, stick the tailbone out and pull the low belly in. So maybe you can do that naturally, or maybe it helps to use your hands. As you do that, then create a neutral pelvis, so it's pointing more towards the floor. Let the ribs get engaged here. Release your arms down by your sides as you straighten the legs. I'll give you a front view here. So arches of the feet are lifting, kneecaps are lifting, maybe eyebrows are lifting, but everything is engaged here. Present, strong. As you inhale, float your fingertips up overhead. Make sure you don't lose this integrity that you have in the core. If you did, do a little readjustment and find it once again. Exhale, hinge at the hips, fold all the way forward, and then inhale up halfway to a flat back. Hands are on your thighs, elbows are tucked in. You're pressing against the thighs with your hands as you extend the crown of the head towards me. Exhale, hinge at the hips and fold forward. And then bend your knees, reach your arms wide as you come all the way up. Arms come up overhead, shoulders are relaxed. As you exhale, sit back for Utkatasana, or fierce pose. In Utkatasana, you're shifting the weight back in the hips. Your core is nice and strong. Arms are up by your ears if your shoulders and neck will allow. Steady breath. Knees are pointing straight ahead, and there's a lot of engagement going on in these inner thighs. Bring your palms together in prayer in front of your heart. Still strong and steady. Bring your right elbow towards the left knee for a twist. So maybe the arm goes on top of the thigh. Maybe you're feeling really twisty and can get the elbow on the outside of the knee. Wherever you're at, both knees need to still point straight ahead. Core is tucked in. Hands are pressing together as you pull the left shoulder on your back for a twist. Notice if maybe you're starting to warm up a little bit or a lot. Exhale your way through center over to the other side. Remember, this is an opportunity. It's an opportunity to be kind to yourself and come out of this posture if that's what you need, or it's an opportunity to take advantage of really building some strength here. We're twisting towards the right, right shoulder is pulled back, knees are pointing straight ahead, and you're breathing. All right. Inhale, come back to center. We're still in the squat. Arms are extended up overhead. Utkatasana. From here, lift the heels. So we're coming up on our toes. Utkatasana. And then we're going to start to straighten the legs. Stay on the toes, hug in at the shins and at the thighs. That'll help with the balance here. How tall can you be? Nice job. Exhale and release. Shake it out a little bit. So if you practice that toe thing, over time, that gets better and better. So if you're finding tonight was a little bit shaky, just like all of these practices, we're building from the inside out. So keep working on it. Find mountain pose again at the back of your mat, nice and tall. Inhale and float the arms up. Keep your belly engaged. Exhale, hinge at the hips and fold all the way forward. Walk yourself forward to a downward facing dog. If you need to drop your knees first, that is fine. Hands are shoulder width apart or wider. Feet are hips distance apart. And to find out if the length between your hands and your feet are in the right vicinity, exhale to glide forward to plank. You might find you have to scoot your toes behind you a little bit more to get aligned. And then move the hips back to downward dog once again. Nice job. Take some full breaths here. And then begin to walk your feet in towards your hands so that you're at a forward fold at the top of your mat. Bend your knees. Inhale, reach your arms wide as you come all the way up. And bring your hands to your heart. Nice job. If you're inclined to use blocks, it's always a good idea to have them at the top of your mat, but certainly not a requirement for this evening. If you're not familiar with blocks, these are a big recommend from me. It's a great way to get yourself closer to the floor. The floor seems far away. And it's also really nice for building strength and muscle engagement by putting a block in between your thighs to immediately engage these thigh muscles and the core. So if you want to play around with that in your practice or in class tonight, you're welcome to do that. All right. Find yourself in mountain pose at the top of your mat once again. Inhale and let the arms rise as the belly stays nice and tucked in. Exhale, hinge at the hips and fold all the way forward. Step your right foot back to a lunge. And your hands can either be on the mat or on blocks. In this lunge, we've got our feet hip width apart. I'm bending into the front knee so it's aligned over my front ankle. The back leg is straight with the back heel lifted. And as you'll notice, my strength is in my legs and in my core. These blocks, or wherever my hands are just for a little extra balance for myself. If you're finding that you're pouring your weight into the blocks or the floor, see if you can shift your weight into your feet and let your hands hover off of the mat. If you want to take it to another level, bring your hands to your front thigh. This is a great opportunity to check in with yourself. So if you have come up this far and you're like, this is great, but this lunge is far too long for me, or I wish this lunge was longer, adjust. As I came up, I thought, this lunge is far too long for me. So I'm going to scoot my back foot in just a little bit to make it more accessible. And then staying nice and strong in the belly, reach the arms up overhead. Keep hugging in at the thighs. Notice your strength and stability in your legs and in your core. Nice job. Exhale and bring your hands all the way back down to the floor or your blocks. Step your back foot forward. Come to a forward fold. Hands to the hips and come all the way up. We may all be in different places tonight. You might be in a place where you're working on really just trying to find some groundedness in the feet and in the core with getting the fingertips off of the mat. Or maybe you're in a place where you have your arms up over your head. Wherever you're at is perfect. This is a practice we're building upon. So this is a practice of the body and the mind. So give yourself credit for where it is that you're at in this moment. And we get to try another side. So find mountain pose. Find that engagement in the abdominals. As you inhale, let the arms float up overhead. You're so strong in the core and in the legs that the arms are like just weightless. Exhale, hinge at the hips and fold all the way down. And this time, left foot is going to step back to a lunge. And make any adjustments you need to make this feel accessible for you. Pour your weight into your feet, your legs, and your core. See if you can get some space between your hands and the mat. If you can, maybe come on up to the front thigh. And then adjust, if you need to make the lunge more your own. Nice and strong in the belly. Reach the arms up overhead if you are able to tonight. If you want to keep your hands on the thigh or towards the floor, please do that. There is so much strength in figuring out what works for you and then making that choice. So do it. Are you breathing? Exhale, bring your hands to heart center. Bring your fingertips back towards the floor or blocks and step the left foot forward to a forward fold. As you inhale, reach the arms wide and come all the way up. Exhale and hands come to heart center. Nice job. Come to a wide stance on your mat. And I'll move these out of the way. By wide stance, I mean having your feet more towards the edges of the mat. We've got heels in, toes are out. Bring your hands to your hips. And then once again, this is a little bit, it's a duck-footed, I guess, sort of like mountain pose. So find engagement here in the lower abs, in the ribs, through the shoulders and glutes. And from here, come on into a squat. Now, my squat was a little bit narrow, so I needed to widen it. We want to have the knees in alignment with the feet. So if you find your knees are kind of pointing in like this, not friendly to the knees. So make sure that your stance is wide enough to keep this toe-knee alignment. Bring your arms up to 90 degrees. Devyasana or goddess pose, strong in the belly, strong in the legs, very light in the arms. Inhale and straighten the arms and legs. As you exhale, create fists with your hands. Create nice strong muscles in the biceps and the shoulders. Inhale, straighten and expand. Really strong in the belly. As you exhale, everything contracts. Pull it in towards the midline. Inhale, stay strong in the belly as you expand and reach out. Exhale, elbows come in nice and strong. Everything's engaged. Last time, inhale, lots of space. And exhale, nice and strong. Great job. All right, bring your hands to your hips. Straighten the legs. Pivot your feet so that they are parallel to the edges of the mat. Again, find that nice Tadasana core, thighs, belly, and glutes. Extend your arms out to a T. As you exhale, hinge forward to a flat back. So it's sort of like your arms are like airplane arms. You're looking down at the floor, and your belly is tucked in so you have a nice, strong low back. Think about extending the crown of the head towards me as you extend your tailbone towards the back of the room. Really strong in the legs and in the belly. All right, on your next exhale, you're going to release your hands down wherever is comfortable for you. So maybe it's the floor, a block, or your shins. But fold all the way forward here. Let the head relax. Let the shoulders relax. Bring your hands to your hips. Press into the feet and come on up to standing. Heel toe your feet in and come to the center of your mat. Check it out a little bit. So I talked about this idea of strength and engagement, and I used the imagery of a tree. Oh, so it seems like maybe we should do some tree pose tonight. Tree pose is a one-leg balance posture for those of you who are new. And the tips for balancing on one leg. One, just like we're doing in this class tonight, hug everything into the midline. Lots of strength, lots of engagement, all the way from the toes, all the way to the crown of your head. So muscle engagement, hugging everything into the midline. Drishti, which is a fixed point for your gaze. So be looking at something that's not moving. That's really going to help with the balance. And then most importantly, please be kind to yourself. This is one of the strength in the mind portions of the class. Balancing, unless we're really, really rocking it, oftentimes balancing creates up all these false scenarios in our head of how we should be able to balance, how we used to be able to balance, all this stuff. But we're here just doing this thing tonight, so that's awesome. So see if you can let go of that and really embrace this idea of the wisdom that we have within this tree, all these rings together to make us really stable and steady and strong. So let's see what happens. Make friends with your left foot. Hands are on the hips, core is nice and strong. I like to look down so I can actually, so I can actually look down and see my left foot. I'm actively pressing my foot into the floor. When I do that, that engages this entire leg, nice and strong. And then I start to shift my weight. Again, core is nice and strong. My right foot is either going to go with the toes against the floor next to the ankle, or if I'm feeling really strong tonight, maybe against the calf. And if you're really feeling steady, maybe grabbing the ankle and placing the foot on the inner thigh. Wherever you're at tonight, I invite you to avoid placing your foot on the knee joint. The foot fits just so perfectly there. And so there's some strength in saying, nope, that's a bad idea because that's a great way to hurt my knee. So find a place, whether it's against the ankle, the calf, or the inner thigh, and think about this idea of pressing the foot into the, wherever you are on the leg, and the leg into the foot, pressing the palms together. Everything hugs into the midline like circles in a tree. And then you can either stay here or grow your branches up overhead. If you need to adjust the placement of your foot, you're always welcome to do that. In fact, I think that there is really great strength in recognizing that need to adjust and doing it just for you, not because of what you think you should be doing or what other people are doing. Connect your palms overhead, press them together, and bring your hands back to your heart. Right knee comes forward, lower the foot, shake it out a little bit. And then we'll try the other side. So find mountain pose first, always the beginning. Nice and strong in the legs and in the core, really connected through the right foot. Start to shift your weight and free your left foot. You've got the three options, the ankle, the calf, or the inner thigh. Now, this side might be completely different than the other side, so don't worry about what the other side was like. Find the place for your foot. Stay strong in the belly, strong in the standing leg. Press the lifted foot into the leg as you stand up nice and tall, bringing your hands together at your heart. You fall out of this posture. It's a very human thing to do. To get yourself back into this posture, you know you're a student of yoga. Good work. Everything's hugging into the midline, pressing everything together. And if you'd like, you can either stay here or grow the branches up overhead, keeping the belly nice and strong, shoulders relaxed. All right, connect the hands overhead. Once again, bring them down to your heart. Bring the left knee forward, lower the foot, shake it out a little bit. Nice work. All right. Find yourself up at the top of your mat in mountain pose once again. Inhale and float the arms up. As you exhale, hinge at the hips and fold all the way down. Walk your way back to a downward facing dog. If you need to come to your knees first, that's totally fine. Hands are shoulder width apart or wider. Feet are hips distance apart and your heels are lifted. You're pressing into the hands as your hips move up and back. So you can either stay right here because this might be plenty for you. And if it is, good job. There's a lot of work involved in downward dog. If you'd like to try a little bit of something extra, bring your awareness to your left hand. Begin to pour your weight into your left hand as you free weight from your right hand. And maybe that's just getting some space. Or if you're able to, reach your right arm underneath you and reach for the left hip, the left thigh. Maybe you can even reach the ankle or the shin. And we're twisting, so we're taking a look underneath the left arm. If you are in this one arm down dog, be pretty impressed with yourself here. Notice your strength. Release your right hand back down to the mat. If you are not in a one arm down dog, check this out. Notice your strength. Nice job. All right, we've got two hands on the mat. You can stay where you are. If you need to come down to your knees, do it. If not, hang on in with me. Pour your weight into your right hand. Free the left hand. And if you can, maybe even reach underneath the body for your right hip, thigh, or maybe even the ankle. And see if you can take a look underneath your right arm. Wherever you're at, you're hopefully being encouraging and kind to yourself. Return the left hand back to the mat. Lower the knees. Bring the big toes together and make your way into child's pose, moving the hips back towards the heels. And in child's pose, we're aiming the hips towards the heels, but for some of us, it's just much more comfortable to have the hips up higher. If that's you, go for it. This is supposed to be a comfortable, resting posture, so make any adjustments you need to have that experience. Begin to walk your hands in as your torso rises up and scoot around to a seat. Extend the left foot out as you bring the sole of the right foot on the inner thigh. And then make sure your hips are even. They get a little funky in these asymmetrical postures, so feel free to move the fleshy part away from your sits bones. Keep sitting up nice and tall. Turn your torso towards the left extended leg, and then hinge at the hips and fold forward. This is called Janus or Shasana or head to knee pose. Steady breath and stay nice and strong in the belly. Come on up and bring your right fingertips behind you, your left hand on the bent knee. As you inhale, create a nice long spine, and as you exhale, you're going to twist to the right. Keep your left hand on the bent knee and reach the right arm overhead. Keep both hips grounded, lots of space through the right side of the body. Inhale to come back to center, and we'll switch sides. So, right leg extends out, sole of the left foot is on the inside of the thigh. Again, adjust your hips if you need to so you can really get rooted, keeping that strength in your hips and core. Turn your torso towards the right leg, and as you exhale, you're going to extend over this right leg. Left hip stays nice and rooted. Inhale to come back up to center. And then left hand comes behind you, right hand on the bent knee. As you inhale, you're sitting up nice and tall. As you exhale, you're twisting towards the left. And if you'll notice, my right foot is flexed and engaged, keeping strength and activity going on in that right leg. Getting every ounce of strength building that we can get. Keep your right hand on the bent knee. Inhale, left arm reaches over towards the extended foot. We are not concerned with how far or how close the foot is to the hand, but rather how open are you through the left side of your body? How rooted are your hips into the mat right now? All right, inhale and come back up to center. Nice job. All right, so you're going to scoot up to the top of your mat. Knees are bent, feet are flat on the floor. Extend your arms. I'm going to adjust my technology. But extend your arms directly out in front of you. Keep the shoulders relaxed, stay open in the throat. Engage your abdominal muscles here. So lower belly, ribs tucked in. Keep your feet grounded. As you exhale, we're going to start to lower our way down onto the mat. See if you can keep your feet connected to the floor. And when you've gone as far as you can just let yourself relax down onto the mat, releasing your arms down by your sides. Walk your feet in towards your body. Knees are bent and feet are flat on the floor. Extend your right foot straight up towards the ceiling and keep both arms down on the floor beside you. Palms are face down. Bring some weight and engagement into your left leg. So what I mean by that is press into the left foot almost to the point where you're about to lift your hips up off the floor, but not quite. So there's a nice grounded engagement in this left leg. Right foot is flexed up towards the ceiling. Arms are on the floor beside you. See if you can bring the leg a little bit closer to the body. And then bring that right hip to 90 degrees. Point the right toes up towards the ceiling. Point them as much as you can, stretching the top of the foot. And then relax the foot and do some circles with the ankle. And reverse direction on the circles. And come to stillness with the foot, flexing it once again. See if you can press it up towards the ceiling as you press into the left foot that's connected to the floor. So really staying engaged. Lower the right foot to the mat and extend the left foot up towards the ceiling. Again, press into the right foot to really get active in the right leg. So almost that your hips are lifting off the floor, but not quite. Flex into the left foot. Let the leg come a little bit closer to the body. And then bring that hip to 90 degrees. Point your right toes. Point them as much as you possibly can. And then relax the foot and do some circles with the ankle. Remember, you're still active in this right leg. And switch directions with the circles. Nice. Flex the foot up towards the ceiling one more time. And then bend the left knee, placing the foot on the floor. Feet are hips distance apart, and the feet are in pretty close towards your body. Arms are down by your sides. Engage your belly, engage your glutes. Press into the feet as you exhale. We're going to just gently lift the hips up for bridge pose. On your next exhale, gently start to lower the hips down, but we're not going to go all the way to the floor. So just as you're about to get to the floor, on an inhale, lift the hips back up once again. We'll do a couple more of those in your own breath, gently lowering the hips almost so they touch the floor, and then lifting them up as high as they'll go. You're still looking up towards the ceiling. One more round. On your next exhale, let your hips lower down to the floor and hug your knees in towards your chest. So that posture was bridge pose for Setu Bandhasana, and it's a great posture for strengthening the low back and the glutes. Your knees are hugged in. Just gently rock from side to side or front and back to get some little massaging going on. Lower your feet to the floor. Bring the soles of your feet together and let your knees go wide for reclined angle pose. Arms are down by your sides with your palms face up. And as you can tell, we're getting close towards the end of class. If you're somebody who likes to try to maybe finish up before Shavasana and move on to the next thing, I encourage you to find the strength to continue through our final resting posture tonight. So you are welcome to stay right where we are here with the knees wide. Another option is to have the feet wide and let the knees rest in on one another. Or if you'd like to take a traditional Shavasana, extend the legs out on the mat with your feet mat width apart. Let your feet relax off to the sides. Everyone should have their shoulders nestled down on their back. Arms are down by your sides with your palms face up, and let the backs of the hands be off your mat. Really let yourself take up some space here. Close your eyes. Feel the strength of the floor beneath you. And notice how it's supporting your weight so kindly after this strength building practice that you worked so hard at tonight. With every inhale, just bring in some fresh air, some fresh energy. As you exhale, just let yourself melt into the floor. Let the floor do the work. See if you can start to let go of all of this engagement we've worked so intently on tonight. Let your forehead be relaxed with space between your eyebrows. Let your eyes be heavy in their sockets. Allow your jaw to be soft and let it relax. Let the tongue fall from the roof of your mouth. And with every breath, see if you can find softness through the neck, and the shoulders, down the torso, and the arms, through the hips, thighs, through the lower legs and out the feet. Enjoy the effects of your practice. There is no more effort. Allow your breath to deepen. And let some movement return back to your toes and your fingers. On your next inhale, extend your arms up overhead and extend your legs out nice and long, like really reaching. This is a really nice abdominal stretch for all of that work that you've done in the torso tonight. And then bring your knees in towards your chest as you gently roll onto your right side, just laying on your side, using your arm as a pillow. Keeping your eyes closed and using as little effort as possible. Make your way up to a seat. And sit up nice and tall like we did in the beginning. When you find your seat, bring your palms together in front of your heart. Good job. Tell yourself this. Excellent work in this strength building practice tonight, using just your own body as a tool for building strength, balance, stability. Really great work. We will close our practice tonight by chanting the Sound of Ohm together, and we'll chant it just one time. Take a full exhale, and a full inhale for Ohm. The strength in me bows to the strength in you. Namaste. Great work. Thank you so much for coming tonight. I hope you're feeling a little bit stronger, and truly these feelings of strength in the body help permeate into the mind and to the spirit. Please share this with your friends. We'll be here again next week, same time, same place. Be good to yourselves. Thank you.